Hello, good evening. This is Fikiri, the dark Feminina. I bid you good evening, blessings, and most of all, I wish to praise and bless and thank the Creator who is one. Haze of thank yous and blessings and praises to you, O Almighty, Almighty Umdali. There is only one Creator, Umdali Jehovah. And I wish to welcome any who are going to be watching this video. Just to clarify something that I think the world has got very confused, rather mixed up. The dark Feminina, not altogether because of my hue, because of my color, but because it is part of my God-given role. I am the Black Queen. I am the Dark Queen. I am the Lady of the Lake and the Cleopatra the Ninth. And my knowledge of the heavens, of the Creator who created the heavens, is that the Creator is who we are formed like. We are formed of family, and the Godhead, although obviously uncreated, is a mother and a father and a family. They have children, and there is only one Creator. How a person understands the Creator, there is only one to understand, is a matter of upbringing and sometimes calling and preference. And there are each member of the Godhead, the Creator Goddess and the Creator Masculina God, have many selves. The daughters of God have many selves. The sons of God have many selves. And they are a unity. They are one. And the reason that the ancient world, the world book, focused on very often on God and Netr is a matter of revelation from the one Creator. The Netr are like the saints, only more powerful, is how the goddess Oshuru or Hathor re-explained it to me a few years ago. Excuse me, moving the camera about a lot. There are religious compras. Each member of the Godhead and each self of the Godhead have revealed themselves to humanity at different times and in different nations as the generations of humans were born. And so it is holy and right to refer to the Godhead member. The greatest member of the Godhead is actually the great goddess. It's holy, it is fine. It is also holy to refer to God Masculina, often known to the world for many millennia now, or several millennia. Actually, it's many, as Jehovah, if following the prophecy that came through the kingdom of Judah, the whole land of Israel, and they are not in conflict, but there is such a thing as ulelo or uhlelo. In ulelo is ancient too. Egypt, that is Mizra. Ulelo is performer. In the Tuko, that is Zulu, it is often said uhlelo. It is the same thing. It is performer, the setting out from the Godhead of how things are to be ordered and organized, and who and what is to be emphasized, made permissible in different nations for different people, in their lives and at different times, sometimes. And so the Ulelo, the performer of God Masculina, has been to the fore for a number of millennia. It is still holy to honor the great goddess, obviously, because she's who she is, member of the Godhead. But it is better, it is holier to not fight God Masculina, because we are still in a time of Masculina, even with the subject of the role of the Feminina in the world, and the role of the Masculina too, changing ideas, etc., different pressures. But we are still in a time of God Masculina. Even if your personal calling or your nation's preference or calling is to focus more on the Godhead Feminina, both are okay. But even if we choose to focus on the Feminina, the great goddess, we must acknowledge that until the end, God Masculina is prominent, has it's like pushed forward, if you like. It is not to be ignored or blasphemed in any way. And many people do, in an attempt to cope with the onslaught of human beings and their understandings of what their religions mean, slandering Ubungoma because it is not exactly the same as fairly recent modern Christianity. If you look at what they call popular religion in earlier times, in the medieval times, you'll see that people were actually mixing the ancient understandings of the Godhead and of the Netr with their Christian faith. They were actually healthier about this. Whatever they got wrong about anything, they had a healthier understanding in the Christian world of several centuries ago, of 1,000 years ago. They understood better. My message would not have been unusual to them, and it wouldn't have been unusual to the church authorities, who, unless they were concerned that people were losing their faith in Jesus Christ, they didn't actually have a problem unless they, as individuals or cabals within churches, were gone wrong spiritually themselves, like the Inquisition, who murdered people for asking questions about communion or whether or not the Sabbath should be Saturday or Sunday. I mean, they tortured people. They did real damage, murdered people, so many people, because they weren't strictly following holy. As long as a person, and that wasn't restricted to the Roman Catholic Church or any particular religion, the Aztec priesthood went the same way. And if you look into why, it's ancient evil that they fell into. And some chose it, some were very determined with it. But there is always a clear distinction between holy, which is of the Godhead, Ote, the Godhead Tuta, the whole Godhead, and Bie, evil. The same with traditions. Some are not truly traditions, they're long-standing evil, and they get presented as tradition to those who can't easily discern the difference between them. And so I just wanted to encourage people. You may feel very drawn to Ubungoma or Ifa, or whatever your national old religion may be, of the different European countries, of the Americas, of Hinduism, of China, the way of the Tao, or following Confucius or Buddha, they're all holy because they've come from the one Godhead. There is only one creator. And as long as what you are understanding and teaching is holy, God does not have a problem with you. Not the Bible doesn't have a problem with Ubungoma. It is ancient Christianity. And I say that with a, unfortunately, have to add a caveat. I am very passionate about people being able to maintain their national religions, as long as it is obviously genuine religion that has come from the Godhead. Obungoma is fine, Ifa is fine, Voodoo is fine, as long as one is following the real thing and not uh, a, a twisted, poisoned version. And twisted, poisoned Christianity witnessed the Inquisition, witnessed the hurt that has been caused to the world and the religious traditions of the world by unthinking, ill-taught Christians in their missions. They think they have to suppress everything, which didn't happen in Europe, but they seem to too often want to suppress anything that they think the Bible is condemning. There is only one creator, one Umdali, one Jehovah, who have presented themselves, revealed themselves, I should say, to different nations in different times, beginning with two, Egypt, Misra or Masra, where the world began. That's where humanity began, in the Nile Valley, in Aswan. In actual fact, that's the first and original royal capital and the center of Eden. And the humanity, with the impetus, the prophecy and drive of the creator and encouragement of the creator, spread out first across all of Kialo, that is the original name of Africa, country by country, region by region, and then out to Judah, to the kingdom of Judah, which was there in the beginning, and then to all the surrounding nations of the first area of the Middle East, that is Canaan, Aram, Amor, Moab, Ammon, Edom, Midian, Amalek, and Philistia. They are all there. All those kingdoms follow on in origin from the kingdom of Judah. They're separate kingdoms, but they all have a place there. And it's very sad that people fight the kingdom of Judah, not realizing they're fighting Ulelo, which means they're fighting heaven, and then the result of fighting Performer is always suffering and distress. And coupled with any human insensitivities and any human stubbornness, it gets bad, as we have seen and as we see around the world. I digress a little. What I am really trying to help people's understanding with is that if a person strays from the right worship of God and Netr, that is the gods, then all those Bible passages and all everybody's true traditions in the whether Ubungoma or the Norse Seder religions, the origins of the British Isles, they all condemn Biye. They all condemn evil. And so the Bible is actually more well known, but what is less well known is it's not condemning the worship of the gods altogether. If people stray from the right way of doing that, then they end up fighting the creator who created the gods. And then when people fight the creator, injustice happens. All manner of cruelties, of torments, of dispossession of homes and land and rights, cruelties between husband and wife, between parents and children, children and parents. Everything and anything can go horribly wrong when people fight or resist or are taught. Even they do it because sometimes because they've been taught it's their tradition, this is what they're supposed to do. And that's when the role of divinare, of those who know how to divinare, how to shlola, come in, how to do a true sed explore, because analyse, because what is the problem? Are people truly telling the truth and being right when they say something is their religion, something is their tradition, or have they actually got it misunderstood? We have to divinare. We can't simply slap a Bible passage on someone's beliefs and traditions, thinking that we're pleasing God, when in actual fact, what they're following, if they could take time and have the spiritual guts, courage to have a proper look, they'd see that it is Christianity. How do traditional practitioners, the Sangoma, the Ngankari of Australia, the shaman of the vulva of Northern Europe, the Haruspecs of ancient Italy, Chialo-E, they heal people. And anyone who's got a spiritual hat on will know that the only way a person can heal is via the spirit of the creator. There is no other way. So to call the healing practices of nations that many have been taught to look down on or to despise or to reject embarrassedly, it makes no sense religiously, because they do heal people. For sure, they don't heal everyone. And for sure, just like every Christian denomination, Muslim, you get a group of people, you'll find some doing the wrong thing. You'll find some not being honorable. But there's only one way to heal, and that's through the spirit of the creator. The creator has to be involved, and they do heal people. Follow the logic. There is no mistake. There is no other way that they're able to do it. One's ancestors are, how do you know they were wrong with God? According to your understanding, okay, but mercifully for the human race, judgment belongs to the Creator. Judgment belongs to God. Yes, the Netr are a tale I'd like to go into more next time. But what I hope to leave people with is, it is not blasphemy. You are not turning your backs on Jehovah to honor the religious and spiritual traditions of your ancient past, of the years before the churches or synagogues, or in other parts of the world, or of any Islam took root. Before then, it's not right to say that everybody was lost, because you are actually slandering a lot of people, and excuse me, slander is not right. Slander is sin. If nothing else, remember that the Netr lived human lives in the lives that were in this life, in this world. We all have Netr cells who don't really live in this world, and those cells don't sin, as I said in my last video. Hence, it can be said that the Netr are of forever. There's more to that, but the created beings of the heavenly beings, the angels and archangels, below them the Netr, and below them the saints, best not slander their human lives because of what you've read in books, because the world is confused, not just about ancient Egypt and the ancient Near East, but it's confused about ancient Europe. It's confused about ancient everywhere, because of loss of intellectual connection. It's good to rethink. Believing that the ancient Egyptians didn't know the Creator is actually unhelpful because it's untrue. The Netr serve the Creator. For sure, different stories to do with the Godhead, as revealed in the different nations, yes, but still the one Godhead. And best not slander the Godhead of whichever religious faith tradition one is following, born in, has sympathy for, likes from a distance, or doesn't like from a distance. But it's good to hold one's tongue and not rush to judgment of they were all. Lots of people in the Middle East, for sure, fell away from honoring God and the gods, the Netr, in the right way, and got condemned for that. And the same in Egypt. There's a beautiful spiritual, powerful truths to understanding the way of humans and animals spiritually. But if a person starts getting disconnected personally, and then maybe as a family or a community or a whole congregation, and then things can go very, very wrong. Things get very unjust once people start getting God and the gods, or either, the wrong. The Netr are holy. They are between the angels and the saints. And that is how the ancient Egyptians understood them. And that is how they've been reminding me these past few years, having been taught. They taught me when I was an infant. And it's known. However, many people choose not to confess, yes, they were brought up knowing this. It's part of the ancient writings, much of which, like Africa's history, is kind of hidden for good, sometimes for ill. But it is worth doing a divinare, because the actual process of divinare, of a hlola, they're kind of the same. And although it's popular to teach that when people follow Ngoma or any traditional spiritual tradition of Africa or the Middle East or Asia or Europe or the Americas is calling on demons, but that's a misapplication of scripture, incredibly slanderous, because, as I say, the Netr have lived their lives in this world and they understand us well, and it is worth remembering that God raises them up the same as he raises the saints, and they do come between the angels and the saints. It's not a focus of modern Christianity usually, but it is ancient. It is of the Godhead, however confused the modern world has become. I feel this passionately because I'm not leaving Obungoma. My faith first is in of Kialo TTC Ancien, book BC, or Bookie BCE, of the Ennead. And I also know that the history between ancient Africa as a whole, especially Kialo Tutisi and Kialo Jew, which is the original name of Egypt and Judah, Israel, respectively, is much older than our Papa, who's, for some of us, who is Abraham. It's long, it is glorious in many parts, and it is not all sadness and stress and distress at all. And the prophecies of the end times were first given through Kialo Tutisi. They were first given through Egypt, the beautiful land of Egypt. And that is worth bearing in mind. Those of you who have been taught to dismiss Egypt as always sinful, stop slandering them, because there's a lot to discover. And you're not going to fall away from God unless you let yourself. Well, for some people, they do succumb, and they do. But it's not the goal. It's not what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to keep your faith. If you cannot keep your faith in God without, if you're honoring the Netr, then for sure, maybe for you personally, it's worth not thinking about the Netr until your faith in the Creator is stronger. But as I recuerdo to you, the Netr are between the angels and the saints in rank, and there's always rank with the Creator, for our blessing, not for oppression, but for our blessing. And you don't have to hate and fight each other. What we have is a world full of human beings straying from whichever they're claiming is their faith tradition and being horrible to each other. And we're left with a lot of hurting people. No wonder they get angry and say, I don't know about the Bible, don't know about Christianity, don't mention Judah. Or they're slandering Wungoma, saying that it's calling on demons and all the rest that we're all very familiar with. And it's a good time just before this Christmas, Yuletide, they actually go together. Everything religiously goes together, as long as it is truly of the Creator. It all binds. It is all from the one source that is the one Creator. With this thought, I know many people are troubled in their hearts because they are called, as I am, to focus on the Creator, the Bible. You know you don't want to leave the Bible, but you do love the gods of ancient Egypt. You do love the Norse Netr, or the gods of Italy, of Greece, of England, of Kialo Bara, that's England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. You love the gods of Kialo T, which is now called the Republic of Ireland. You love the gods of the Americas, or whichever is your calling, your interest. You don't have to be all in conflict about it. It is a matter of praying to understand, why do you feel both so strongly? Because I know some people do. And it can be a matter of feeling conflicted because you love your family and maybe they're following one religious faith tradition or another, and you don't want to upset anyone, but you feel drawn to Creator and Netr, Jehovah and Umdali. They're actually all part of the one Godhead, the one Creator. Please pray. Please don't give up. Please pray. There's a world of learning, of sacred geometry, of all sorts, of the meaning of numbers, of letters. It all means something. You get more history this way. If you let the gods teach you, they're not going to lead you astray. They belong to the Creator. They're His servants, like the saints. Don't fall into wrong ways of worshipping them. all the saints, all the angels, all the archangels, all the heavenly beings, all the Creator himself. We must try. We are very imperfect. Humanity, we live in a fallen world. It's got beauty in it, but we know it's got a lot of distress in it. Please pray. Please keep up your prayer, your patha. Please don't give up on the Creator or Netr. First comes the Creator. If you feel there's a problem you can't surmount, always stick to the Creator first as your first focus. But that doesn't mean that it's suddenly okay to slander the Netr as unholy. They are very holy, and they have a heart for all of us because the name of the Creator is in them too. I bid you adieu, blessings, blessings, blessings. And